This is it. The moment the last 10 years have been leading us to. The 1010 portal isn't just another gateway. It's the completion of a soul cycle. Everything that we've walked through, every ending, every awakening, every tear and miracle has been guiding us to this place. This moment of completion, of integration, of remembrance. 4 years ago, I was shown what Spirit has now called the rainbow prophecy. It was a vision of the collective standing in unity, hearts open, shadows alchemized, light codes weaving through every being on earth. And I was told, if you step through the portal of light, your life will never be the same. Joy, celebration, and abundance unimaginable. And in this past week, I have come to know that that time is now. So welcome in everyone to the Awakened Flame Network. I'm the Awakened Jen, and I'm a multidimensional channeler and the Oracle of the Council of the Awakened Flame. I blend tarot, the Akashic Records, and direct counsel transmission to help you remember who you are, why you're here, and what's blocking your soul's full embodiment. And today we're walking together through the Rainbow Prophecy Fulfilled, the Destiny Path reading for the 1010 portal. This is not a forecast. This is a remembrance, a moment to pause before we rush into the next thing, to honor what's been completed, to witness what's been reborn, and to step consciously into the destiny that's now unfolding. And so I decided today, instead of doing the energy forecast of looking at the energy of next week, we really need to sit in this energy. We need to understand just everything that this moment has really meant for us, because I mean, this is so much bigger than this moment in time. It's a culmination moment. And, as I said, it's become so clear to me in this past week, this past couple of weeks, but I mean, just this past week for sure, that this was the moment that was prophesied to me in my spiritual awakening back in July of 2021. And there was just this beautiful rainbow that, like, just in the center was nothing but just light. And I knew that was like the portal, the gateway to, like, it takes you into your highest level, and it's like your ultimate abundance, everything. And so what came out, just for me, just in these past few weeks, is just like, that was showing me, like, you get everything you want. You get everything you want if you choose the destiny path. And that's what it is. It's the destiny path. And destiny is a choice. It's available to everyone who recognizes and sees, that one, they have to understand who they really are. They have to see themselves very clearly to know who they really are. You got to know that you're capable. You've got to know what you want, and you've got to claim it and choose it. That is the destiny path. And so we've been through so many lessons over these past 10 years, so many changes. My whole life changed. And I mean, mine started with, a vision back in 2014, not even a vision. I was woken up in the middle of the night in 2014 with a knowing. And then just from there, like, I had the near-death experience in 2025, and everything shifted after that. And my whole life just deconstructed and has been rebuilt. And, it was scary to go through it because I didn't know what was happening. But now then, like, I can see, like, I just see, like, how I was guided, how everything was, like, just moved into place. And I know I'm not the only one. So I'm just the person here that's putting words into, the experiences that many people have been going through. So the 1010 portal marks the closing of a 10-year cycle. 2025 is a 9-year of endings, release, and mastery before we move into the full rebirth. And as we stand here in this stillness between worlds, I invite you to take a deep breath. Feel the completion in your own body. Feel the pride of how far you've come. You did it. You made it here. Now the question is, What are you ready to choose next? In this Destiny Path reading, we'll move through the wisdom from the Oracle of the Council of the Awakened Flame, which is my Oracle deck it's still a prototype. You can sign up for the waiting list on my website, theawakenedgen.com, and you'll be one of the first to know when it's available. We're going to use the Biblical Tarot, Healing the Inner Child, Soul Coaching, and the Inner Temple. We'll ask what this 1010 energy has truly meant, what has been integrated within us, and what door is opening next for the decade ahead. And then we'll close with a direct channeled message from the Council of the Awakened Flame to guide us forward on this new rainbow path of creation. So if you're here, you're part of the prophecy. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's step into this destiny together. All right, so before we get started on the reading, I want us to close our eyes and take 3 deep breaths together so that we can ground ourselves into this space. And then we will do the invocation to call in the spirit team. So close your eyes and breathe in. That's 1. Breathe in. That's 2. Breathe in. That's 3. I now call in the Council of the Awakened Flame, a collective of angels, archangels, ascended masters, our higher selves, guardian angels, ancestors, and galactic light family to please enter this present space and time. I call upon Archangel Michael to place a bubble of protection around us. Only beings of the highest vibration of pure love and light may enter in. I open myself now as a clear, surrendered channel. Only messages for the highest good that bring healing, ascension, alignment, and love. So be it. All right, so we're going to be starting with the Oracle of the Council of the Awakened Flame, and this is the portal of completion. So this is going to set the tone of the energy that we walk through and what is being integrated through it. So the first question here is, what has this 10-year cycle been preparing us for at the soul level? So what has this 10-year cycle been preparing us for at the soul level? We have Mary Magdalene, Sacred Sovereignty, Sacred Sexuality, Angel number 144, Sacral Chakra, Crimson, the Council speaks. And so I mentioned last week, Mary Magdalene was super, super loud. And so she is part of like the leadership of like the 144,000. So the 144,000 has been called into action all year. So starting back from February is when I just remember really feeling that energy, and that call very loud was like, this is the time to come into action. It's like everybody was being activated. And that's why it's like the karma got super accelerated. The lessons got super accelerated. And it's like things started falling out of your life faster than you could probably keep up with. And it was the goal here is to get you into sovereignty, to get you into that fullness of your full divinity, because we have work to do. This was not, and that's something that was said to me in that rainbow prophecy. It was something that was said to me. You came here for a mission. And if you're not going to do it, we don't actually need you here. And so it wasn't like trying to say, like, but it's like, it was the wake up call. Do you remember why you came here? Because this is the moment that you came here for. And I mean, it was stern, but it was just like, wake up and see. This is what it's all about. You've been sleeping through your whole life to this point, and this is the moment that you can't sleep anymore. Wake up. The world needs you. And they need you. They need not copycats of others. They need you, what you specifically came here to bring. Okay. The lesson or code of mastery that has now anchored within the collective, the now moment, 44. We are ready to build. We are here. We've gotten ourselves present again. Heaven exists in this breath, 000, crown chakra, pearlescent white, embodied light. And so, heaven on earth, new earth, this we get to create it. And so many of us are going through a lot of life review processes right now of like, this is your moment. You're standing before the throne of God and they're showing like, here's everything you've done to this point. And is this who you really want to be? You've been, again, sleeping your life away. It's time to wake up to the reality of where you're at right now. You're being given opportunity right in front of you. And if you don't claim it, you will lose it. So it's time to wake up. You have everything you need. We've given you the building blocks. You have it all. You've got the foundation. You're ready to go. So it's a choice. Heaven is a choice. Are you going to live in the old 3D fear construct of power and control and domination over others? Or are we going to move into this love, unity consciousness of the 5D? This is a rapture moment. And it's, interesting that, the rapture was talked so much about as a feared thing. And people were panicking because they didn't understand that this was a personal experience that was happening within them when they went through all the levels of they had to walk all the way through the darkness to get to this light. They had to feel the full weight of all the sins of the world, their own and others, and bear it all and still choose to love and live fully. That is how you get, and it's like it's the upper heart chakra that has been just activated for so many of the light workers this year. And it came through the deepest pain that you've probably ever been through. It was to get you to wake up. It was to get you to see. You had a life to live. And we've been just so disconnected from it. And we've been just in autopilot. And we've been just letting our triggers and our wounds and our inner child, all of it, just run rampant without even being conscious of what's happening around us. And so now it's been the time. That's what all these lessons were about. It's to get you back into your body, to get your soul back into your body, to get you to remember why you were here, and that heaven is a choice. Your destiny is a choice. You've got to know that you deserve it, and you've got to know that you have capable and worthy of it. But heaven can exist right here, right now. You just have to choose it and fully accept to receive it. What lesson or code of mastery has now anchored within the collective? Oh, wait, that's what I just said. Sorry. Okay, what gift has been reborn through the transmutation process? Shadow work. Meet the monster, find the child. Angel number 555, sacral chakra, Charco, the path of transmutation. So a lot of the work that we've been through was getting that inner child free and helping to reparent the inner child that was just scared, and it was just making monsters out of everything around because it hadn't ever been shown the correct way. So it's like a lot of us have carried a lot of shame over like our own personal shadows, and that needed to be seen and accepted for what it really was. We needed to see, why is that shadow there? And the majority of the time, that shadow was there to protect that inner child who felt helpless. We all have it. We all have it. We all have the fullness of the capability to be, just the fullness of good, fullness of light, fullness of love, and also the fullness of the darkness, fullness of hate, and fullness of division. We have the capacity for all of it. That's the wholeness of who we are. But we get to choose. We get to choose which of those we're going to show up as. And we don't demonize either one of them. We understand that they have a balance. There's a reason why they exist. So we learn to make friends with our shadow, to understand our shadow, to work with our shadow, instead of making it into something to fear. Okay. So there's some powerful energy that already came through. These cards always just activate a lot. But I mean, we've gone through the lessons for a reason. And we see that, we all, like, humans are humans. Humans all have the capacity of good, bad, and ugly. And, just to accept humans where they're at and, to treat them where they're at as well. And so, like, I'm not saying that you allow the darkness to take you over. When you notice someone is fully in their, the darkness would be more of the ego shield. I would just say give them space to figure it out on their own. And that's not healthy for you. So you pull yourself away, but we're not judging it anymore in the same light that we used to judge it. We see it. It's just they've got their own, traumas, triggers, and inner child work that they've got to do, and we're going to let them do it. They will get there when they are ready to get there. All right, so the next section we're going to pull with the biblical tarot, and this is the sacred destiny path. So this reveals the divine architecture and the spiritual covenant behind this cycle. So what divine promise or prophecy is fulfilled through this completion? We have the Empress Mary, Mother of Jesus. And so divine mission fulfilled. Divine mission fulfilled. What did this woman come here to do? She came to birth the Savior of the world. She had, a huge mission. She's been really loud this week. She's been very close to me this week. So it's interesting, Mary Magdalene last week, and then Mary came in strong this week. But this is about your divine service and your divine mission, and remembering how important it is. Remembering how important it is. And it comes through love, compassion, and grace, and just the willingness. There's just a level of willingness and devotion. And it's just, when she was asked, there was no hesitation. She knew when what she was being asked, the rest of the world would not understand in that moment. And they would judge her deeply and harshly for it. She could lose everybody that meant the most to her by choosing this path, and she still chose it. And the first, that she did lose the man that she was engaged to, because he's like, that doesn't even make sense. That does not even make sense. You're telling me that, you got pregnant by God, and I'm supposed to believe that? It just blows the mind. The things that we are asking people to see in us, it just blows their mind. They can't see it until they have their own upfront experience. And so that's what happened with Joseph. Joseph had his own angelic experience while he was trying to sleep. It comes in through his dreams, and it was just like, no, this woman is telling you truth, and it's part of your mission too. And so you let people get there when they get there, but you do not wait. You do not hesitate, and you do not take what other people, if they can't see it yet, it's just not meant for them to see it yet. It's your mission. It's your vision, and it's yours to protect. Okay. How is the Christed energy or rainbow covenant reawakening within humanity now? We have death, the fourth horseman. And so, again, I already called the rapture is happening on a collective level, but the rapture happens within. This isn't people getting left behind in like the clothes are laying on the ground. This isn't that type of rapture. This is when people are coming to their own consciousness and their realizations. So Jesus said that I am the way, the truth, and the light. And no one gets to the Father except through me. And that has confused many, many Christians and people worldwide as him saying, he's the only way. He is, but he was showing you the way. Everything about his life was showing you the way, the truth. The kingdom of heaven is within. The way is through the truth, through the light, through the rising of it. And it's like, he never meant to be the God figure that he was made into. He just wanted people to see what he knew. And he showed it with his own life. And he said, what I do, you will do this and even more. And he told, no one will know the hour of the day because it's personal to each and every one. When will you make the choice? When will you make the decision to step into your own destiny? To create your own heaven on earth? That's the transformation. It's ego death so that you can find your soul again. What scripture or archetype best mirrors the collective next step towards destiny embodiment? We have the Five of Chalices, and this is the prodigal son. And so we thought we knew the right way. We thought we had this figured out. And this is the moment of realization where we're sitting in our own doings, where we're looking around and we're like, we created this mess ourselves. We did this because we thought that we knew a better way. And so it's humbling. It could be humiliating. But it's a moment where clarity is the strongest. We see what we need to do now. We see what we're really working with. This feels like a breaking out of the matrix kind of thing. And it's just like, there is grief with that. There is just like, wow, grief of like what you've done and what others have done to you. And in the unconscious sense, like when you see that it was so much was happening unconsciously, that that if these people knew what you now know, then no one would have shown up that way. They would have seen that there was a higher way to do things, but they weren't in that place. And so there's grief with that. There is grief with that. But that you were there too, and nobody could have told you any different. When you were in that moment, you thought you knew everything. You did not need anyone to tell you, and no one could have told you. This was life experience had to teach you the lessons firsthand. And now we've gotten through it. So, it is a sobering moment where we're just taking everything in. This is the culmination. But we see it now. And we see, our part in it. We see other people's parts in it. And we now know what we should have done differently, what we could have done differently, and what we will do differently. Okay. So the next part is coming with the healing the inner child, and this is integration and grace. So we're going to tend to what the 1010 energy surfaced for healing. So I do feel like that there's a lot of inner child healing that is coming back out to be looked at, to be witnessed. All right. So what aspect of the inner child has finally been liberated through this completion? We have embrace. So embrace. And I feel like where you were looking for love outside of yourself, you finally brought it back to yourself. You're finally bringing it back in. Where you really felt like you had to have someone else to help you to support, because it's that child. That child doesn't know because they've got to be taught. And so they are helpless. And so that helpless feeling, the hopeless feeling, the I can't do this on my own feeling, we finally learned how to turn it back on ourselves and see, like, okay, if nobody's going to show up for me, then I have to show up for me. And so you might have had to learn it the hard way, but that's what this was about, is so that you could step into your full sovereignty again by giving yourself that inner grace, by giving yourself that inner compassion and the inner trust. That has been a big lesson as well, is that the majority of people do not have self-trust. And if you don't trust yourself, you cannot trust anyone else. And so it's this pouring back into ourselves has gotten us whole again. What pattern of fear or unworthiness is ready to be fully released now? We have grief. And this is 11. This is an 11 card. So this gets you on the path. The grief is your portal. The grief, the pain that you have been resisting is your portal. There's this feeling that in order to prove that you really love something, you have to suffer for it. And that is the distortion that's being broken wide open. We've learned that love cannot save anyone. No amount of love can save anyone. And no amount of love on our own can force anyone to love us back. Those are all lessons that have come through, and they've caused a lot of grief. But the portal to open that upper heart chakra that I talked about earlier, which is the Christed, this is when you hit your Christed frequency. This is what when I say the rapture, this is where I'm talking about. This has to happen. You've got to feel the grief. As long as you're holding on to the grief, you're going to be held into the old timeline. It's the minute that you allow yourself to feel it to the fullness, you go all the way with it. You let it take you just all the way. It will not last forever. Every emotion, just if you let it go to the fullness, only lasts 90 seconds. And then the tightness of it will relieve. And then the thoughts can start calming. And you can start really rebalancing and transmuting what just came through. We need to learn to work with the grief so it doesn't consume us. So many people are walking with just unconscious grief, unresolved grief. And I mean, it brings you to some of the lowest frequencies, that are on, the vibrational chart. And when you can learn to hold grief and love at the same time, that is a mastery level for a spiritual being. That is just, because the grief is what you're holding in your body. The grief is the reminder in your body that you've been through something. But to hold the love, that's your soul showing up and knowing what's actually real, what's actually true, and what's actually possible. It's the thing that keeps you connected and keeps you alive. So we can't run from the grief. We've got to embrace it. We've got to feel it. Because that's the thing that holds us back. That's the portal. That's the step through into your destiny. What does our healed inner child want to remind us about joy, play, and innocence? We have mother. We have mother. So many of us had to become the adult way too early in our lives. And so we've just gotten, used to having loads of responsibility, having to take care of everyone around us, carrying just everyone's burdens on our hearts, on our minds, on our souls. We weren't given the opportunity to even be children because we had to parent even the adults around us. So this is a call to let go of some of the responsibility because you've been told, you from your earliest times have been conditioned to take on more than what is yours. And so if you did that as a child, how much more are you probably doing that as an adult? So look at the responsibilities around you, see what's actually yours. And so you can start moving things out of your schedule so that you can start replacing it with things that bring you fun, that you're doing just for the sake of enjoyment. This is a rebalancing of energy. You didn't get to be a child here, so let's bring that child back out now. It's not, just the complete, we're not going to do our responsibilities because that's not who you are. But again, you've taken on so many responsibilities that aren't even yours to hold. And then you feel like you don't have any space for your fun because you've spread yourself out for everyone else. So let's start giving back to others what is rightfully theirs so that you can have space for this very important piece that brings back vitality, the lightness of life. Okay. So the next section is with the soul coaching. This is our embodied choice. So we're moving from reflection into conscious decision and empowerment. So the first question here is, what truth about our power are we now ready to live? Truth about our power are we now ready to live? We have opening. And so it is opening up, and we are like, what I love about this image is it's not like it has to happen all at once. You just have to be willing and just allow the gentle unfolding of it to begin. So you're going to see it just little by little. You'll see something new about yourself and you'll say, whoa, I didn't know I was capable of that. And then you'll get another thing. And again, you'll be impressed with yourself. I didn't know I could do that. And it's just going to keep opening up as you allow it to. If you don't close yourself off to it and you're open to it, then it just, it's not going to be all at once because that would overwhelm you. And you need to get mastery in each level before the next one can even unlock. And so just take it just one at a time, but know that there's so much more than what you see right here. What you see right here is just the proof of just like what is big, continuing to open for you, but it's not the full totality of it. So just allow it to open, be receptive to whatever comes in, be gratitude for whatever has already been given to you. And the more that you're using it, the more that you show the appreciation, the more that you grow, you lean into it, the more that the rest will start opening for you as well. Okay, how can we anchor this new light into daily life with grace and confidence? we have faith. And so this is like the Fool card, and you've got to have trust, and trust starts with yourself first. So you might be looking for your safety net, and your safety net is yourself. That you know what you're capable of, and you're not going to take steps before you know that you're called to take them. You know the sound of like what your intuition feels like, like the sound when you're being pulled, what that feels like in you. And so like you're trusting yourself to recognize your own guidance system. It's not about, just removing all the obstacles around you. Sometimes the obstacles are part of the gift itself, because it's part of the training that increases your frequency to be able to hold the next level of the gifts that are coming out. So just have faith. Have faith that it's all working out. Have self-trust that you will know what to do exactly when you need to do it. What affirmation or declaration marks our rebirth into the new timeline? And we have communication, and this is an 11 card too. So again, and it's like, this is the pathway. We're learning how to communicate our needs, our desires, our wants, that's in a mature state, in a conscious state. So the communication is leveling up. The way that you're talking to each other is leveling up. The way that you express yourself in this world is leveling up. Your own words are in a higher vibration now, so they can be received at that higher level. Now, not everyone, if people are still in their lower level, they can't understand you. They will, fight against what you're saying, but that is that's your guide sign that of the level that these people are at. And so, you're not going to be able to fully resonate with someone that, if you know that you're speaking in this really clear, calm, conscious way, and you're still getting the reactive and defensive, and just, it's the ego fighting back, then right there what you're dealing with. And so it doesn't help you to continue to try to explain to someone who cannot see it at the level they're at yet. Once they get the awareness of, oh, whoa, like my reactions, my thoughts, my perspective might be the one that is off, then you can start having conversation. But until they get to that place, you're not going to be able to fully communicate with them. It will just frustrate both of you. And so it's just your discernment of recognizing alignment and, meeting people where they're at. And so like, that's also part of the leveling up of the communication that you've achieved, is that you do know you can connect here with these people, but you also know how to connect with these people still too. It's just, it's a different, like it's a different approach. It's a different way. And it's probably just more in a superficial sense. You're not trying to convince anyone that is not ready to fully see. If they're not asking the question, then you just let them believe what they want to believe. So once they start asking questions, then you can start communicating. That's where the line starts opening. But if they're not asking questions, then just let them, figure it out in their own way, in their own time. Okay, let's see. My battery's about to run out. Let me plug up here. Okay, so the next section is going to be with the inner temple. Okay, the inner temple. And so this is the new light codes, and this is to activate the new rainbow consciousness and prepare for next week's Jupiter Venus conjunction, which is a destiny point. And that is something that Hope and I will be talking about on Tuesday on our next Embodied Flame Temple. All right. So, what energy or initiation is being activated within the temple of the soul right now? And we have projections. So, look at the mirror. So, not everything that's coming at you is really about you. A lot of what's coming at you is about other people. So, that's where I'm saying the discernment with the communication. So, when you start getting people that are telling you things about yourself that you know are not true, then that's the clear sign that you've got projections coming at you. And so, it's just your own vibration is definitely irritating into those that are not quite ready for it. They see it, they feel it, but there's just their own internal resistance to what you are showing them. It's not you, it's what it's calling into them, and they're not ready for it. And so it's easier to push you away, to call you the bad thing instead of seeing it, because when they're in a deeply unconscious state, they don't even realize it. They really think, okay, I feel this, bad feeling when you speak, when you are around, and so you must be the issue, not like the feelings inside of me, and not inspecting, well, why am I feeling that? It's they're not ready for it yet. That is the next level up. That is a huge jump of consciousness. And when they do that, that's where things start opening. But you've done it yourself, so you know that you can't talk anyone into it. You've just got to let them kind of figure that out again. But your role here is recognizing when it's a projection and when it's a reflection. Okay. How can we harmonize the divine masculine and feminine within to create balance for the new age? We have chamber of transformation. And so, that's what this whole thing has been about. It's been the rebalancing of the masculine and feminine, and the restoration of just like the flow of the two energies within the self. It's been coming back into the embodiment. And so, you can look at the physical body as more of like the masculine energy, where the soul is more of the feminine energy. And so a lot of times this world has just focused very much on the human part of the incarnation and just completely pushed away the soul part. And so full embodiment is where we're bringing that soul and that human fully together, just in the divinity of Christ. That is, that is the Christedness, when you can bring your soul and your human fully together, and you can recognize, which part is feeling what and which is guiding what, because there's a place for each one, and we're respecting each one. But that is, the wholeness that we're looking for, is when we can get, the fullness of ourselves back in our body, and that, make that expression out into the world and hold that frequency, because just being able to hold the frequency. And so that's an important piece of this, the embodiment piece, is because we have the frequency, but when we're not embodied, when we're dissociated from ourselves and distracted and staying more up in this space, then the soul frequency is not fully integrating all the way through our system. And so that's why it's just so important that we merge the two back together, so that we can hold the frequency, so that it anchors into the earth. It's going all the way through us, and not just, hanging up in these upper spaces. It's not just a potential energy for us anymore. It's the reality of who we are and how we show up. Okay. How can we harmonize? Nope. Okay. What sacred vision, the rainbow vision, are we now invited to embody as co-creators of New Earth? And we have the chamber of surrender. So, as I said earlier, it's all about just willingness. Just think about Mother Mary when, Gabriel showed up to her and told her the most crazy news, and just asked her to do the craziest thing, knowing that it would potentially could even get her killed. And she just had complete surrender to the will of God, complete surrender to the mission that was being called upon her, complete surrender to be fully herself in this lifetime, because she had a purpose here, a huge one, a divine one. And she didn't even have to fully understand it to just know, yeah, I want in on that. So it's just the full surrender to whatever God has for you. And I remember making this surrender myself at 20 years old. I read the gifts of the Spirit from the Bible. And like, when I saw the gift of encouragement, I just was shocked by that one, because I just thought that was something everybody did. And I didn't realize that that was a literal gift of the Spirit. But I mean, there were so many more. And I just, in my naivety, and not fully understanding what I was asking, I told God with full sincerity at 20 years old, I want everything you have for me. I want everything you have for me. And I didn't know. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that that meant that I was going to have to walk a path that would literally break my own heart into a million pieces, deconstruct my whole life, everything that I thought, that I believed in, everything that I loved, everything, had to go through this complete death and rebirth process. I didn't know that. I did not know that, because I was just surrendering to what, just whatever the will was. And then from that is where the destiny steps in. So it's a surrender. The choice is just a surrender to whatever God has for you. Okay. So these are very deep and powerful messages. So I'm sure that you'll need some integration time for a lot of these messages to fully sit with us. I've just felt the power. I mean, just all morning, all day, all week. I knew that this would be a powerful day. It's 11:11 on my clock, so that's even more just alignment. But we're going to close this out with a direct channeled message from the Council of the Awakened Flame. So I'm just asking the beloved council, as we stand at the threshold of the 1010 portal, the culmination of a 10-year cycle and the beginning of the destiny path, what would you have the collective remember, release, and reclaim? What is being written in the book of life? And how do we walk forward in our divine authority and peace? So the first thing I get is, and it feels creepy, but I get it, is a snake. It's time to shed. It's time to shed the old skin. It's time to shed the old belief systems, the old life, everything that you thought you had to cling to for your own safety. It's time to let it all go and see who you really are. This is the moment that your full radiance can be revealed, where you see the beauty of yourself and life through eyes that you've never seen it before. And this is the vision that you were given, that each of us are given. That's why we feel just that there's always more, this call for more, because we know that there is. That's not just a hope or desire. That's a reality that your soul knows and has been trying to wake you up to. This message has been powerful because it was meant to activate you into mission. It's time. The world has waited long enough for the frequency that you hold. We look around and we see the destruction. We see the separation. We see all the things that break our hearts in two. And we feel that there's no way that we could ever have an impact on it, but yet there is. And it's by you being fully you. by you being fully embodied, by not running from, the hard feelings and the hard emotions that grief can bring. Allowing yourself to feel it and to still love yourself and others through it. That is the spiritual mastery. It's not something anyone can give you. It's something that you recognize and create from within. You can be shown, you can be told, but until you know it, believe it, and do it from within, it will never have that personal meaning for you. The call has gone out. And those that are hearing it are rising. Your purpose doesn't have to be in front of many. It can be directly where you are, because your purpose is your frequency. You and your wholeness of yourself, in whatever space you're in, that's the impact you're supposed to make right here, right now, until you are shown a different way. It's okay to want more and to expect more, but you're being asked right here, right now, to hold it here with what you have in this moment, and then watch it expand from there. The destiny path is available to all, but not all will choose it. And that's okay. That is the divine gift of love right there. So you're not forced into anything. You get to choose who you really want to be every single day. And you may have been one version of yourself all the way up to this point in your life. And now you realize that it really doesn't align with you at all. It was a mask that you felt like you had to wear just to be safe, just to be loved, and just to be worthy. And that was the distortion. You were worthy just because you are. And you will be loved for who you are by the right people. But the wrong people will never see you. And that's never going to indicate a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. And it shows just information, their capacity to be able to hold your fullness. You don't demand people to hold your fullness. You hold your fullness, whether they validate it or not. It's yours. You know who you are. You don't need anyone else to tell you. But yet this world has become accustomed to being told who we are, what we're supposed to do, when we're supposed to do it, and why we're supposed to do it. And then we all sit and fight the system for the rest of our lives. This is the breaking out of the matrix, is when you realize this piece. Nobody gets to tell you who you are. You know who you are. You get to decide who you are every single day, and you have full capacity of anything. Nothing is off limits. Now, yes, certain things will have consequences, but nothing is off limits. You decide who you are. No one decides it for you. So what will your destiny be? It's available. It's on offer. All you have to do is walk through that portal that is being offered right now. Learn the lessons, integrate them into your system, and re-embody your fullness again. And then choose. Choose from that place of embodiment. Okay. So I am going to just close it right there. There was lots of powerful messages clearly that were coming through. Hopefully you have gotten value out of this and you felt the energy and the activations that were coming through my voice, because it's so much more than the words that I speak when I do my readings. It's so much more than words. This is a frequency that is meant to be felt, and the frequency is opening up key codes and light, all within you. And it's just like you will feel activated and expanded just by hearing the messages that come through with the council. And it is just an honor for me to be the conduit for which these messages come through. So I thank you so much for joining me for this and for being a part of my own rainbow prophecy, because this was literally, they told me that I would be speaking to many people, and about a spiritual teacher. And at that time, that was not who I was, but it's just been the biggest reward and blessing I've ever experienced, is to get to do what I do and to bring the council through and the messages through and see the healings and activations that I've gotten to be firsthand witness of. So this is the moment for all of us to really see what we're capable of, see what we're made of, see what we were really brought here to do, and to own it. All right. So what are you going to do with this 1010 portal energy? I would love to hear down in the comments below how this has affected you, what you've gone through this week yourself, because mine has been just, oh my goodness. I really almost didn't even do this message at all, because I just wanted to hunker and hide, because it's just been the most powerful energy that I have felt in a long time. And so if you're experiencing that, you are absolutely not alone. All right. So again, thank you so much for joining me. If you have not already, please like, subscribe, and share if you like what we're doing. And I do have next week, I've got on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll have the Embodied Flame Temple with Hope. And that's always a lot of fun. And this is really divine feminine embodiment and empowerment is what those are meant for. And then on Thursday next week, I'm bringing in my shaman friend, Jen Huber, for a really interesting interview about how she even got into what she does, what it means to be a shaman, and what she can offer to you, through her work. I've had very powerful sessions with her. I know that she's been part of my own transformation. My first session with her, she told me that she told me that I was surrounded by a team of guides. And at that point, I did not know that. I knew like that. I knew I was connecting, but I didn't know who I was connecting to. And so at that point, I didn't know that. And then, she said that once I felt safe in my body again, that my spiritual vision would open and I wouldn't even need cards anymore. And it was just like that has come full circle this year. I fully got it. I fully understood what she had told me then. So, I mean, that was, again, the first powerful session I had with her. And so I am excited to share her with all of you as well, so that you can see, what she can do for you. And then I will have the energy forecast again next Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Nope, it's 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 my time. I'm Central. And if you would like to work with me, if you would like to book a private session, I have openings at theawakengen.com. All right. I think I got everything out. So other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take this energy, serious. It is big deal energy. So take care of yourself through it. And I thank you so much for your support, and I will see you next time.